Hi, my name is Aiden Batchelor. This is my submissions for themes in American literature. This is my English class for my junior year of high school at Roosevelt Area High School. I am recording this on Wednesday, June 9th. And today I wanted to talk to you about how I believe nature is the key to imagination and why imagination is important. I am doing this all in one take, so this may contain a few errors, but enjoy me, flatter me as I listen to some nostalgic music, and I show you a video of me biking through my childhood neighborhood. Recording this footage was really nice. It was a hot day, but it was a nice experience to kind of relive some memories that I remember making before things like school, jobs, more important adult priorities began to become of higher importance. It was almost like a thought shower, just rinsing off some of the weird adult dirt. It is currently 1:17 in the morning, so I apologize if I seem a little dreary or pause a lot in my speaking, but let's get right into the discussion. For this video, I will be quoting Ralph Waldo Emerson's Nature, Addresses and Lectures, my bad, and Henry David Thoreau's Why I Left the Woods. The first quote I wanted to talk about was from Waldo Emerson, Nature, Addresses and Lectures. He says, "The stars awaken a certain reverence, because though always present, they're inaccessible, but all natural objects make a kindred impression when the mind is open to their influence. Nature never wears a mean appearance, neither does the wisest man extort her secret, and lose his curiosity by finding out all her perfection. Nature never became a toy to a wise spirit. The flowers, the animals, the mountains, reflected the wisdom of his best hour as much as they had delighted the simplicity of his childhood." Well, this really struck a chord with me, because nature always has something new to offer, as much as everybody drives by their local park or even a small tree, or passes by a small little bush or a patch of grass in a concrete jungle. As kids, I feel like we all found something new out of those little experiences every time we looked at them. I personally remember the little playground I went to that had dandelions all around the concrete curb, and every time I looked, I always saw like a new ant colony, or the dandelions changing, or the grass containing some new mysterious bug that I'd never seen before. And it always allowed me to change my perspective. I felt like it allowed me to, find new experiences out of a routine that in reality did not change that much. This feeds into why I believe imagination is important and why nature comes from imagination and vice versa. Because nature is and has been our source of imagination for thousands of years. And going to nature, we will always find some sort of inspiration. This inspiration allows us to see things differently. And seeing something different out of something that occurs every day, I feel like is a valuable skill to have. You know? It allows us to think outside of the box. It allows us to see things from other people's perspectives and generally empathize with people, which, you know, I personally believe is a valuable trait, especially in modern times. The second quote I wanted to talk about was also from Ralph Waldo Emerson's Nature Addresses and Lectures. He says, "The sun illuminates only the eye of the man, but shines into the eye and the heart of a child. The lover of nature is he whose inward and outward senses are still truly adjusted to each other, who has retained the spirit of infancy even into the era of manhood. His intercourse with heaven and earth becomes part of his daily food. In the presence of nature, a wild delight runs through the man, in spite of real sorrows." And in doing this little bike ride project, I kind of began to empathize with this quote a little bit more. You know, I feel like everybody in this COVID pandemic has, been stuck inside and has been trying to cope with responsibilities of, staying safe and, trying to be productive. But going outside and doing things that are often seen as childish kind of allow us to, not only rekindle some of that imagination, but also kind of re-feel that freedom to express and really see things more truly and raw. I think that's important. I think that getting bogged down in the doings of everyday life can put a filter over your eyes that, nature and the imagination it brings with it are really the only ways to, clean that filter off, in a sense. For my last quote, this is Henry David Thoreau's "Why I Left the Woods." This is a series of essays and small pages of Henry David Thoreau's experience of camping out in the woods. This is something I've actually found very appealing. I think that the philosophy behind Henry David Thoreau's just leaving society altogether and being one with nature for a while, and then coming back and being able to share his experience is super valuable because, I understand that not everybody can do it, but that message of the things that you learn when you're by yourself, connecting with nature, you know, relying on the things around you and your own brain to derive happiness, to derive sorrow, to derive meaning is truly raw. And the ideas that are born out of that, I feel like, are just amazing as seen in some of Thoreau's works. Anyways, to get into the quote, Thoreau says, however mean your life is, meet it and live it. Do not shun it and call it hard names. It is not so bad as you are. It looks poorest when you are richest. The fault finder will find faults even in paradise. Love your life, as poor as it is. You may perhaps have some pleasant, thrilling, glorious hours, even in a poor house. The setting sun is reflected from the windows of the almshouse as brightly as from the rich man's abode. The snow melts before its door as early in the spring. I do not see but a quiet mind may live as contently there, and have as cheering thoughts as in a palace. The town's poor seem to me often to live the most independent lives of any. Now this is a little bit of a stretch, how it connects to nature and how it connects to imagination, let alone the fact that imagination is the most important eye of the five eyes of romanticism. But I still really liked this quote because growing up I was kind of in a weird upper middle class kind of life with my family, and over the years I got really detached to personal objects. You know, everybody has that one toy growing up, but when you have a lot of the toys, you know, they become less valuable. And, you know, being that this is Henry David Thoreau we're talking about, I'm assuming when he means poor, he means dirt poor. And something about the way he described that, you know, we shouldn't be as materialistic and we shouldn't be as, you know, like hierarchical in terms of value bringing wealth. To some of my younger listeners, you may have noticed that the Minecraft alpha track has been playing in the background since this video started. I did this because it is from one of my childhood favorite games, Minecraft. And you may be asking, well, how does that tie into imagination and nature? Well, it doesn't really tie into nature. I'll give you that much, but neither does watching a video on a computer. But Minecraft, for those of you who don't know, is a pretty simple sandbox survival game. And it's very much it doesn't have that many limits. Like, there's not a lot of forces in the game that tell you, hey, you can't do that. And, you know, I feel like as much as video games kind of dampen imagination and creativity, I feel like this was the one game that allowed me to really, you know, build something from nothing, you know, build a castle in the desert, or, you know, make a highway connecting 50 million miles of nothingness, or, you know, making a room and seeing how many cats I could fit with it. Like, just something to let my imagination run wild as a little kid. I feel like that helped me as I got older. You know, didn't make me a violent, raging little kid like video games are often thought to make kids, and to a degree I believe that's true. However, this imagination from Minecraft taught me to, you know, work and not necessarily have something be set in stone, because you may have some wood or a dirt block. That doesn't mean that it is confined to being in the ground or on a house. That can be a dirt statue, or you can make a wood skyscraper. That imagination taught me to be versatile in the ways that I think about things and the roles of certain things. And that is why I believe that imagination is super important, because those skills transfer in a practical sense, at least to some degree, and also in a, life-fulfilling sense, in the, I feel like life is a little bit more grand if you can find something that is truly your own idea, your own creation. I'm sure once Pablo Picasso found his drawings and found his style, he, truly felt like he had expressed himself. And that's why I chose Minecraft by C418. My apologies. Because it brings me back to an era where I felt like I had expressed myself with imagination. I grew up in a upper middle class family, and I always felt satisfied and guilty of personal possessions that I had. Oftentimes, through Boy Scouts of America, which does more things than rape little children, oftentimes we would take camping trips where I would find, starting at a very young age, even to now, that, nature was the best place to have fun, to kind of let my childish brain unleash itself and just create, the most crazy of things. Like, I think everybody remembers watching out the window of a car your little imaginary stick figure running along the wires of the lines doing cool flips. And that's what we did. We would act out these crazy warrior scenes and, like, imagine what the little tiny people in the grass were doing. They weren't ants. I'm not completely copying Thoreau here, but this quote resonated with me because it kind of gets at the fact that you don't need things to be satisfied or to find fullness in life. That's what I'm really trying to get at, is the fullness of life. The less you have, the more you must imagine what things represent, because you have less things. That one thing must represent a lot of different things. That forces you to use your imagination, and that allows things to represent many different things to you. And I feel like that's important. I've only got a few more minutes left before the video ends. I end up reaching Materion Park in Roseville. And I just wanted to say how grateful I am this project was assigned. This was a very big learning. This is a very big lesson for me. I think a lot of self-reflection came out of this that benefited me, and I hope it benefits you. Um, I don't have much more to say, so I would just like to say thank you for watching and enjoy some Minecraft.